From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, August 24th, 2014. Silver is trading at $19.44 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $503. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. is moving close to direct military intervention in Syria once again, but this time focusing on ISIS, not the Assad government. Having long cynically armed the Syrian rebels against Assad, with a lot of those arms going to ISIS, they've changed their allies of convenience. Now, reports have the U.S. government providing targeting intelligence to the Assad government against ISIS, in particular giving them intel on the location of ISIS leaders. The reports say the U.S. is funneling the intelligence to Syria, still officially an enemy, by the way, of Germany's BND. The changing narrative is likely to go public eventually as well, however, with Syria hoping for a long-term rapprochement. The great thing, from the Syrian perspective, is that they don't actually have to change their behavior, and they can go from a nation the U.S. is angrily condemning for its brutality to a U.S. partner in the war against the newest enemy in the newest U.S. adventure. With talks of U.S. military intervention in Syria growing, the U.S. would no doubt prefer to have Assad on board, since they can claim to be operating at the request of an ally, even if it's an enemy turned ally for the sake of war. The wild card in all of this is Israel, which has for a while been touting ISIS as preferable to Assad on the notion that Assad, as a Shiite, is closer to Iran than ISIS would be. U.S. officials are also touting the Assad military's airstrikes having killed Abu Musa, an ISIS press official. It wasn't so long ago the U.S. was griping about every Syrian airstrike regardless of the target. FPP Radio News is brought to you by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage. For over 35 years, Roberts & Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They now take Bitcoin for purchasing precious metals so you can turn your profits into a long-term investment. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing. 800-874-9760. Reuters reports President Barack Obama has ordered a review of the distribution of military hardware to state and local police out of concern at how such equipment has been used during racial unrest in Ferguson, Missouri. A senior Obama administration official said on Saturday that the president ordered the examination of federal programs and funding that enable state and local law enforcement to purchase such equipment. Images of police wielding military-style guns and armor have shocked many Americans following clashes that were triggered by the fatal shooting of Michael Brown 2 weeks ago. Obama wants to know whether the programs, which were expanded after September 11, 2001, are appropriate and whether state and local law enforcement are given proper training. The review will be led by White House staff, including Domestic Policy Council, the National Security Council, the Office of Management and Budget, and relevant U.S. agencies, including the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, Justice and Treasury, and conducted in coordination with Congress. Obama signaled he would review the programs at a White House news conference on Monday when he said he wanted to make sure police were purchasing equipment they actually needed because there is a big difference between our military and our local law enforcement, and we don't want those lines blurred. FPP Radio News is brought to you by Coinbase. Coinbase is a simple and secure online Bitcoin wallet for sending, receiving, and storing Bitcoin. I trust Coinbase. You should too. Get started at coinbase.fppradio.com. That's coinbase.fppradio.com. Politico reports a Florida judge ruled Friday that the state's reconfigured congressional map will take effect for the 2016 elections. Leon County Circuit Judge Terry Lewis, who ruled in July that the state's map was unconstitutional and ordered the legislature to fix 2 districts in particular, ruled Friday that Republicans' tweaks to the maps were enough to comply with Florida's Fair District Amendment, which prohibits the legislature from taking politics into consideration when drawing the congressional districts. Lewis also said that the 2014 elections would carry on under the maps he previously threw out. He said in his decision, "My duty is not to select the best plan, but rather to decide whether the one adopted by the legislature is valid." This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.